Well, I did want to ask you about the whole GDScript and C Sharp thing. Like, what actually is the difference, like, in the engine? Like, what sort of integrations does GDScript have that C Sharp doesn't have? Like, from a developer's perspective, like, what are they missing out on if they go with the C Sharp route as it currently stands? Obviously, you said that it's trying to be improved as it goes on, but as it stands right now.
So at the moment, you can download two versions of Godot. One version includes only GDScript. The other version includes the possibility of using C Sharp and GDScript. You can use them, at the same time. You can have some nodes using GDScript, some
Oh,
others
okay.
using C Sharp, as you prefer. So that's one thing that one of the barriers that we want to just merge them together. So in the future, you can have only one file that you can download. Right now, you have that choice. And also, currently in Godot 4, you cannot export the C Sharp games to iOS and Android
Okay.
and web because we moved from using Mono to using .NET, and
Oh,
unfortunately,
right.
like it's
I
not
forgot all that
it's
happened.
not there yet.
Yeah.
And the version like 4.2 is probably gonna be able to export to Android for sure. Like that's something like it's already kind of working. iOS, it's always a mystery, but it's our goal as well. But yeah, those are like the differences in terms of like why some people were kind of asking for better support in those areas. If you're making a desktop game, you usually don't have any issues. But if you want to make a web game or a mobile game, then you find those limitations with the current version. And that's also like a big portion of users from Unity made mobile games. So
Mhm.
for them, it's really important to be able to export to mobile. So yeah.
I completely forgotten who you mentioned .NET. That .NET used to be a separate thing from .NET Core, and then they got rid of .NET, and now .NET Core is .NET.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's Microsoft naming things.
Hey, at least
It's like the
.NET's open
Xbox,
source
right?
now, so hey, that's look.
Yeah.
Well, they just deleted the proprietary one, but whatever. It's open source, so it's fine. Um,
Yeah.
so uh, you're saying GDScript is kind of like Python.
It
Uh,
looks similar.
some
It's not
okay.
entirely one to one.
Sure, yeah, no, I didn't expect it to be one to one, but yeah, having a look at it is, yeah, that is really Pythony. Wow, huh? Like,
Yeah,
obviously,
it
there's like
uses
enums which Python doesn't have, and a bunch of other things, but like, from a basic syntactic level, like, yeah, this would be like very simple to. Oh, and it does. Well, hey, one thing you didn't copy with Python is the way it does object oriented and stuff. Oh my god, have you ever tried to do OO in Python? It's not.
uh, a
Don't
little bit, but not so much.
don't.
Yeah, yeah. And I usually prefer functional
Yeah.
programming, but yeah.
Okay.
Um,
OO in Python is the most
and
disgusting thing you'll ever see.
we try every time we implement something in GDScript, we try to make it like we see what's out there in Python, right? Like when we
Yeah,
added
yeah.
like the static typing, like like you can specify types and stuff like that. Like we try to be as similar as possible there. But in some other areas, it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So then there's like at the moment we're very lucky that we have like quite a good GDScript team, like a group of people quite active, and they have been making amazing progress in it. And there's also this this compromise of let's make it easy but also like not too different to what people expect. So
Mhm.
I really like it that you don't have to be maybe specifying a lot of stuff, that the engine is quite good integrated, so it kind of knows what you want to do with it,
Mhm.
and you don't have to be like if you want to do Python bindings, which is something you can do actually. Like I'm not sure if the Godot 4 has a version of it, but you can use different languages in Godot, like if you integrate them, like some bindings for Rust, for instance. But if you try to do it with Python, you see how much more you have to do for doing the basic stuff compared to GDScript.
Mhm.
So that's what I really like about it.
I probably won't be able to find it now, but there was this cool demo I saw of someone messing around with GDScript where they were like live editing like the code and it was updating what was like in the like the preview or whatever. It was somewhere
Yeah.
on Twitter. Like I didn't realize it was that integrated into it. You just like change it and it's just automatically just doing the new thing. Like that's really cool.
Yeah,
That
it has. Yeah, it has hot preload. Yeah, yeah. You can. You just but boot the project, but you can also do that from the editor itself. You can tweak the values in the inspector and you will see it there. Yeah, yeah, it's quite good. Like, it shouldn't be like it shouldn't be like the only way of doing stuff, because sometimes, with this sort of like interpreted languages you have performance issues, so you have options to do it. Some people has done it like, let's do the performance stuff in C# or even in C++, but you can use it as a scripting language and it should be perfectly fine. Like, it's not as slow as people say it is. That's a bit frustrating sometimes, because if you do some of those synthetic benchmarks where you do crazy stuff that you would never do in a game, and oh yeah, this is very slow, it's kind of like, yeah, but when are you gonna be doing that, right? So it's quite fast enough, but whenever you need something else, you can do some other stuff. That's the cool thing.